Celine Dion singing God Bless America 10 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. It is a Monday morning, the 11th day of April 2022, 40 degrees here in Las Vegas. Humidity at 33%. Wind, oh my God, the breeze is up to 2 miles an hour from zero a few minutes. Now it's 3. And then we have a barometric pressure of 29.77 inches holding steady right now. We give you a little bit of an update on the fire earlier, and maybe we'll be talking a little bit more. But all we know is what the National For, or the, was it a National For Weather For? Anyway, what the Forest Service is telling us, and it's about where all the information that I see on other sites that are out there. But we are in the middle of a high wind warning and a wind advisory and a fire weather warning, fire weather watch, fire weather watch, fire weather watch. It's funny that my screen has fire weather watch 4 times on it, so you know what that means anyway. Be careful out there. You know that we are in the 21st chapter of First Kings, getting ready to finish off that chapter and get into chapter 22. Probably in today's program, I would expect that, but I want to let you know that we have our faithful prayer line lady out there ready to answer your phone call at 505-425-3717. You know, they texted me. I have 2 ladies that take care of the prayer line Monday through Friday, and they text me as soon as they hear my voice on the air. They say, oh, he's there this morning. Yeah, you never know when I'm not going to be here. Anyway, they let me know that they're out there, so we're just going to have to name one of them Faithful, the other one, not sure. But they're there all the time, and they do a great job. Thank you very much, Pauline, for being out there. Other than that, let's get into our study for today, and let's get over to that screen, unless there's something else that I have to talk about and nobody has said anything. Oh, here's what we need to talk about before we go into the study. We have had some comments off of our Facebook line that the feed is going in and out. Okay, so if you've been watching or listening on Facebook and either the audio, video, or both have been kind of intermittent, I can't see on our line towards anything that we're doing. It seems like if the YouTube people are not getting the same thing. So our YouTube address is LV Cornerstone Church. And that's where we are broadcasting right now, along with 95.7 FM and our Facebook page, LV Cornerstone. But if you're having problems with the audio, which is much more important than the video, but I understand that both of them kind of work together on these social media platforms, you might want to switch over to YouTube. But I do not see comments on YouTube. Haven't figured out how to do that. It's probably not that hard, but I got my hands into too many things here on the early morning program, and I haven't learned that one yet. But just to let you know, is that if you're having problems, and like I know that on Facebook at the end of last week, and even on our Sunday service yesterday, we were getting comments, I can't hear, I can't, and most of that is something that's really out of our control. I won't say all of it. It seems like, anyway, let's go into our study for today. Just a little heads up over there. So, we got all the way down to the 25th verse, and if you notice, we have on the head of our page this morning the 17th verse, because as always, especially when it's been a weekend, okay, and a busy one, and talk about busy ones, it's going to be busier this week, Holy Week, here in here in Las Vegas. I know it's Holy Week all over the place, Mark. That's anyway. We look forward to Holy Week. We look forward to, we talked about it, gave a message yesterday that I think coincides with the season that we're in at our Sunday service. Anyway, if you look at the title over this paragraph that we're looking at on screen right now, it's "The Lord Condemns Ahab." You know who Ahab is. Ahab isn't on our top 10 of kings for Samaria. In fact, Ahab is probably real close to one of the bottom 3 of the kings that have been over the northern kingdom. And the reason being is that Ahab brought Jezebel into the land. Jezebel didn't come alone. Jezebel brought a lot of baggage, very, very dangerous baggage, into Samaria when she came. Now, Ahab, God has shown a lot of grace, and not only, watch this, I need for you to understand this. When it comes down to Ahab, you say, well, come on, let's catch the guy a break. That's what we're all about anymore. Let's give everybody a break. Let's give them a break there. Let's draw the line. And let's draw a scriptural, Holy Spirit-filled line, and let's just hold the line. It's very easy to cut everybody slack all the time because we want slack for ourselves. I understand that. I want slack. If I say something wrong, if I have a problem here or there, I want a little bit of slack. But watch the slack that Ahab has gotten from above. He saw the fire come down from heaven and consumed the sacrifice on Mount Carmel when Elijah had built the altar and prepared the sacrifice, and 12 pots of water had been poured out over everything, and he had dug a ditch around the altar and filled it up, and he had seen the power of God. When we get down to verse 17 of the 21st chapter of 1 Kings, God has already given him victory over Syria twice. So you want to cut? This is God cutting. I guess we could say this isn't really true, but we talk about grace a lot, and rightfully so, because we're saved by grace. It's the grace of God that has saved us. That's the slack that God, if you want to talk about it and try to fit it into where I'm starting off with this morning, Ahab has a lot of slack from God. He has done some terrible things. He is known for one of the worst kings that the northern kingdom is ever going to have, and we still have some more to go through. We're not finished with the lineage of kings. But eventually Samaria is going to go into and captured by the Assyrians, and they're going to be scattered all over the place. So he's done a lot of terrible things, and in the middle of that, God has spoken to him. God says, listen, come here. I'm sending my prophet, and I'm going to tell you that you're going to beat the Syrians twice. And it wasn't a conditional promise. It was God says, we are going to defeat, and they defeat the Syrians twice. After he had brought Jezebel in, after the prophets of Baal had come in, and the Asherah prophet, all these things that had happened, after the fire fell, after the terrible things that Ahab does, God is still speaking to him and cutting him slack. And that's and our God will. But when Ahab had the opportunity to get rid of Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, which was God's will for his life, he cut slack to the enemy. And see, that's what we're doing many times in our world, is we're cutting the enemy slack. You want it to, and you understand my term and my, sorry that, I don't have a very educated term for you, cutting slack, but you all understand what I mean, man. Come on now. And what Ahab has done is Ahab has cut slack to the enemy. Listen, the thief comes to kill, to steal, and destroy. Don't give him an inch. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. So you can give slack to flesh and blood, but don't give slack to the powers of darkness. And what Ahab did is Ahab was presented with victory by the Lord, handed victory by the Lord twice over Syria, once in the hills and once in the plains. And at the end of the second defeat, Ben-Hadad says, "Oh, hi, brother Ahab, you're like a brother to me." And what has happened is that the king of Syria said, "Hey, don't kill me. I'm going to give you some of the cities back that my daddy took away from you. And I'm going to allow you to put your businesses over there in Damascus so that you can make some money." And instead of taking the enemy out and finishing, because Ben-Hadad was going to come back in 3 years. We're going to be there. Ahab cuts the enemy slack. Is there areas in our life to where we have crossed over that line? Let me tell you what, there is a line. People don't like the line anymore. People like moving that line over. That's why, watch this, that's why Moses commanded the people before they went into the promised land not to move the boundary lines. What they did in the time of Moses was when they occupied, well, not Moses because they didn't do it in the wilderness, but when in the time of Joshua, you had your property line and you marked it with rock. Sometimes it was a wall, sometimes it was just a row of rocks that were there, the same from that point to that point. It's what the Lord has given me. And you didn't go move your neighbor's rock in the middle of the night. And what we're doing many times in our world today is we're moving the lines. We're saying, "Oh yeah, well that's not, and it's like the frog in the pot. Little by little. We have a program today at 9:15 that's going to be talking about the sexual revolution and what is happening and the sexual revolution been going on for a long time. We all know that. Been going on for a long time. That revolution's been going, and we can see how it started off, and then it went here, and then it went there, and now it's going there. And just about the time you think that it can't get any worse, something freakier happens out over there. Let me tell you what, God created sex. Sex is not a bad thing as long as we hold the line and we understand what the line is. So, we understand the line, and then we defend the position, and then we get in trouble for it. And, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to tell you that I got all the answers. I'm not going to tell you that I know exactly what's going on. All I can tell you is that God's not a man that he should lie. And that God has his way of doing things. And God is asking us and just showing us that he is the God who changes not. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He says, I change not. He is holy, he is pure, his word will last forever. And you're living in a time, ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a time where the standards are dropping, my God, like an earthquake. The word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise, go to beat Ahab, king of Israel, who lives in Samaria. There he is in the vineyard, and Naboth, where he has gone down to take possession of it. And what had happened was that Ahab had moved the line. He goes to Nadab, what was his name? Naboth. He goes to Naboth. And he says, give me that piece of property that's right next to my house for a garden. And Naboth says, listen, you're moving the line. See, you didn't think that there was this moving the line thing. You didn't think that there was any. Yeah. What Ahab told Naboth is move the line. Let's move the line. Come on, help me out. I'm the king. And he says, listen, I serve a king of kings. And your king says, don't move the line. So he goes to his house, sullen, throwing his little hissy fit. And Jezebel says, I'll move that line for you. I don't respect the line of Yahweh. I don't respect Jehovah's line. Pronounce it any way you want to pronounce it. Yahweh, Vove, however you want to do it. But Jezebel says, I'll move that line for you. And the Lord condemns Ahab for not taking care of business with Syria and for allowing the line. And Jezebel moves the line, kills Naboth, no big deal. And that's where we get into our verse for today, where we finished off on Friday, was the 25th verse. But the prophet came. The prophet came before we get into the 25th. I got 45 seconds more before I play a song and then a weather report. But the prophet comes to Ahab and says, listen, because you're moving the line, this is going to happen. I probably get in trouble for this, and I probably lose a little here and a little there, but I don't think it's a real loss. I don't want to be one who moves the line. And the prophet says, Ahab, judgment's coming your way because you moved the line. 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus. 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus and in His Word. Let's get into a weather report. We have a current temperature here in Las Vegas of 39 degrees, looking for a high of 70 with mostly sunny skies. South wind 13 to 28, gusts up to 39 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with areas of blowing dust, high around 64, gusts up to 57 tomorrow. And Wednesday, mostly sunny, high around 51. Going to cool off a little bit. West wind 21 to 29, gusts Wednesday up to 40 miles per hour. And it looks like it's going to be windy all week long here in Las Vegas. A quick update on that fire. As of yesterday, they had it 10% contained up at Hermit's Peak. And I think all they can do is try to work around the edges of it, and hopefully it doesn't spread much further. But we do know this, that there are suggested by the Forest Service and the Sheriff's Department, say people that live in Las Dispensas, San Ignacio, and Pandaray, you might want to go get a hotel room someplace. In fact, I know at Memorial Middle School they had set up a place to where people can go if they want to. And that is your weather report. We're going to go back to our study for today. One thing that I do want to tell everybody out there, and we'll be mentioning this throughout the week, is that this Friday at 6:30 in the evening here at Cornerstone Church, we will be showing the movie Risen, and faith-based movie about the death and the resurrection of Christ Jesus. It's a great movie. Some of you might have seen it already. You want to come and see it with your family, your Christian family, or maybe bring your family along with them. 2207 7th Street this Friday at 6:30 in the evening. Corrine and Mike are with us. Andrea and Tommy are out there. Chana with us. Debbie is out there with us. Good morning. Those are the ones that I see on Facebook. And Eileen said, well, Mrs. Size is listening on 95.7 FM. So, the prophet comes. Back to here. Now I can move my hands a little bit more. How much more do you move them? A lot more. Anyway, the prophet comes and tells Ahab, I got a message for you, man. because you moved the line. You've been moving the line a little bit too late. Remember that uh, football cheer? Hold the line, push them back, push them back. Yeah, that type of stuff. That's what we're here on 95.7 about. Behold, verse 21, I will bring calamity on you. The word of the Lord to Ahab, I will take away your posterity. I will cut off from Ahab every male in Israel, both bond and free. I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam, like the house of Baasha, because of the provocation with which you have provoked me to anger and made Israel sin. Notice that. See, Ahab, it's just like, well, it's just my little sin. It's just my little habit. It doesn't bother anybody. I just can't get this. Yes, it does bother people. You have a place in the body of Christ. You have a part to play in the body of Christ. And for you to think is that you don't matter and your little thing, listen, we're talking about the line this morning. The line of truth. And concerning Jezebel, the Lord also spoke, saying, the dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. The dog shall eat whoever belongs to Ahab and dies in the city, and the birds of the air shall eat whoever dies in the field. But there was no one like Ahab, verse 25, chapter 21, 1 Kings. There was no one like Ahab, who sold himself to do wickedness in the sight of Yahweh, because Jezebel, his wife, stirred him up. Oh, Jezebel. Oh, well, cut her some slack. Yeah, let's just let her keep the prophets, bringing the prophets in. Let's just let Jezebel keep on, killing Naboth type of people when they want to hold the line. There was no one like Ahab, who sold himself to do wickedness in the sight of the Lord, because Jezebel and his wife stirred him up. Don't forget, prayer line is open till 8 o'clock at 505-425-3717 if you're watching this live. Don't be calling her at 8 o'clock at night, okay? And he behaved very abominably. Please don't. I think I said it right the first time. It might not come out the same way the second time. He behaved very bad. He was an abomination in following idols, according to all that the Amorites had done, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. So the Lord had cast out the Amorites and pushed them back way back. Ahab couldn't hold the line because of Jezebel. Oh, yeah, well, she's so pretty and she's so cute. And, watch what she brings along with her. Check her luggage. Somebody should have checked her at the border. Where was the TSA when we needed them? He behaved very bad in following idols, according to all that the Amorites had done, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. So it was, when Ahab heard those words, that he tore his clothes, put on sackcloth on his body, and fasted and lay in sackcloth, and went about mourning. Say, what? Flo and Joe are with us this morning. Joe, how was the concert? Did you go to the concert Saturday night? I wanted to go, but it was too late for me. Not only that, we had an evangelist, a Heart of David Worship Center right next to the house. Darlene, good morning. How are you feeling, Darlene? Back at work, I hear. Not like you weren't working, but there was no one like Ahab. Huh? So he hears the words from the prophet. And it cuts him. He responds. Watch how he responds. Well, he's such a terrible guy. Yeah, he's such a terrible guy. But let me tell you what. Our God is a merciful God. Watch this. So it was when Ahab heard those words. he tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his body, fasted and lay in sackcloth, and went about in mourning. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, See how Ahab has humbled himself before me. Because he has humbled himself before me, I will not bring calamity in his days. In the days of his son, I will bring calamity on his house. What does God do? God is being merciful to this man. Now, if I was the judge, which I am not, if I was the judge in this case, I would, but God cuts him slack. But he doesn't move the line. He says, it's still coming. It's just going to come in his son's time. It's not going to come in his time. And this isn't the end of Ahab's story. He ain't going to deny. He ain't going to pass away at the beginning of the next chapter, which we're going to right now. But Elijah has spoken a word. He's left Ahab, and God says, "Go back over there and finish the story, because he has humbled himself before me." Because I will not bring the calamity in his days. In the days of his son, I will bring calamity on his house. Who is this God? Well, he's the God that saved us. He saved me. And you know, if he saved me, save anybody. Calls me to preach. You say, who is this God? Now, 3 years passed without war between Syria and Israel. Okay. Who is the leader of Syria? Ben-Hadad. Who's the leader of Israel? Ahab. Then it came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went down to visit the king of Israel. Jehoshaphat is a good king. We haven't heard much about him. In fact, all of a sudden he shows up in chapter 22. The last time we had heard of a southern king, it was Asa, his father. And he is taken over from his father, and his name is Jehoshaphat. So he goes up to visit King of Israel, whose name is, hello, anybody out there this morning? Ahab. Came to pass in the 3rd year that Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went down to visit the king of Israel. Usually when you're going north, like if we were to go to Colorado, we were to say we're going up to Colorado, well, the southern king goes north, but it's like going down because of the condition. It was the spiritual condition. You're going down. And the king of Israel said to his servants, "Do you know that Ramoth Gilead is ours, but we hesitate to take it out of the hand of the king of Syria?" Remember, we were looking at Ben-Hadad when he had been defeated in the hill and in the plain by Ahab, that he said, "Hey, brother, don't kill me, man. Don't kill me. Cut me some slack, and I'll give you the cities that my dad took away from you, and you can set up shops over there in Damascus, and doors are open for you now, man." But 3 years has passed. Ahab has done nothing about it. Oh, he's taken away Naboth's field and had him killed. He's done some other things, but now he says, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about Ramoth Gilead. Let's go get it. Do you know that Ramoth Gilead is ours, but we hesitate to take it out of that?" Who's this we thing, Ahab? Yep. But we hesitate to take it out of the hand of king of Syria. So he said to Jehoshaphat, "Will you go with me to fight at Ramoth Gilead?" Hey, brother, We're all the same family. We're all sons of Abraham. Moses has all brought us in. Joshua established us. We're all one. Yeah. We are one. But we have two different kingdoms. And it's not like the kingdom of Judah was, stellar in their approach to the Mosaic religion. Will you go with me to fight at Ramoth Gilead? Jehoshaphat said to the king of Israel, I am as you are. My people is your people. My horses and your horses. So Jehoshaphat was this guy that liked, like building relationship and, let's be nice to each other. We're all one people. You got to watch out with people that move the line, though, Jehoshaphat. I am as you are. My people is your people. And my horses as your horses. Also, Jehoshaphat said, King of Israel, please inquire for the word of the Lord today. He says, yeah, we're one people, but what does Yahweh say? Before we do anything, let's get the opinion of heaven. Jehoshaphat. Then the king of Israel gathered together the prophets and about 400 men. Oh, that number 400, I thought we had killed them. Well, we killed the 450 of Baal. These are the 400 probably of the Shura cult that was out over there. It was, you need to do your homework on these Baals and these Asherahs and find out what they stood for. You talk about, we have a program coming on at 9:15 this morning. Let's see if this is the program I'm talking about. Yeah, 9:15 this morning called Breakpoint, talking about the sexual revolution and how it is denigrating worse and worse and worse. And you see it on the headlines, and you see it walking your streets. And you have to find out what, especially this Asherah cult, what it was all about. Lot of immorality mixed in with the idolatry, a lot of it. And then you look at your situation today, your world around you today, what's happening in our neighborhoods, even in our families. And we keep on. They keep on pushing the line, push them back, way back. Kristen is with us this morning. I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a line. Then the king of Israel gathered the prophets together, about 400 men, and said to them, shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to fight, or shall I refrain? So they said, go up, for the Lord will deliver it into the hand of the king. Jehoshaphat said, is there not still a prophet of Yahweh here that we may inquire of him? Notice. Jehoshaphat says, well, these guys sound like a bunch of do-gooders. Who are these 400 prophets? Isn't there a prophet of, all I need is one real prophet of Yahweh? Because they're just something, the discernment to Jehoshaphat was on high alert. The king of Israel, verse 6, gathered the prophets together, about 400 men. Shall I go up against Gilead to fight, or shall I refrain? They said, go up, for the Lord. Notice how they don't use the name Yahweh. They use a very generic, the boss. El Jefe will deliver it into the hand of the king. But Jehoshaphat said, is there still not a prophet of Yahweh here, that we may inquire of Yahweh? I want to hear what God in heaven says. Probably Jehoshaphat should have never even been there to begin with, but it's part of the story, so verse by verse. So the king of Israel said, Jehoshaphat, there is still one man, Micaiah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord Yahweh, but I hate him. He does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The 10 commandments are evil. That's what he's saying. The things of God are evil. Listen, God has been showing him mercy. God has been gracing him with victory when well, none of us deserve it. It has nothing to do with what we deserve or not. But can we trust in the Lord with all of our heart? Can we love him with all our mind, with all our will, with everything that we have? Oh, yeah, there's one guy, but all he does is tell me the truth. He must be on the radio station someplace. So the king of Israel. I have on my Facebook feed that I look at every once in a while off of my phone. It says bring them on camera. One of these days I'm going to hit that button just to see what happens, to see if it's going to bring you on. So you better put your PJs on, because I just might try that out. Well, let's experiment. Let's see, bring them on camera, see what that does. So the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, there's still one man by whom we may inquire of Yahweh, but I hate him. He does not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. Oh yeah, the 400 guys, they say what you have. We come against this all the time. People ask counsel of us. And many times, you're out asking counsel and saying, "Hey, brother, what do you think?" And well, what does he want me to say? Let me kind of discern this situation. I think he wants me to. I'll say what he wants me, and that's what the 400 prophets have been doing. They've been telling the king whatever he wants to hear, except there's a prophet of Yahweh who's telling the truth. There's a prophet that's holding the line. If it's good, he's going to say it's good. If he's evil, he's evil. All he says is bad things. Maybe he's trying to bring you over to the right side. He thought maybe that's what he's trying to do. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say such things. Man, did your mama teach you better, Jehoshaphat tells? No, I guess she didn't. And your wife, don't expect, well, it's your wife that's been paying these 400 prophets to say whatever she wants them to say and whatever the devil wants them to say. Just give him good news all the time. Tell him he's okay. Put a little more cushion on the chair. Put a little more syrup on the ice cream. Oh, he don't have to eat his vegetable. Oh, my God. Then the king of Israel called an officer and says, bring Micaiah, the son of Imlah, quickly. Guess where this dude was? He was in lockup, man. There's one way of controlling the prophets. Put them in lockup. Put them on lockdown. Tell them they can't meet on Sundays. Tell them to take their, they're saying the wrong things, and we'll ban them and shadow ban them and do all these things. How many people are getting, good people, prophetic people are getting knocked off so that we don't hear what they have to say? Because if we can't hear them, then we can do whatever we want. Oh, it ain't that easy. I love reading the Bible and saying, yep, that's your world. Oh, yeah, but this happened over 2,000. You're right, it happened over 2,000 years ago. But the heart of man is still the same. Where's Micaiah? Well, send the cops to go pick him up. Go bring him out. Send the bailiff to go get him. Then the king of Israel called an officer and said, bring Micaiah, the son of Imlah, quickly. The king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, having put on their robes, sat each on his throne at the threshing floor at the entrance of the gate to Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. Now, at the gates was City Hall. At the gates of a city was where the elders hung out. They judged cases. They took care of governmental business there at the gates. And Ahab, we're only calling him the king of Israel in the 22nd chapter, okay? And Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, put on their robes. They're sitting on on a throne, each one on his own throne, at the threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Samaria. Threshing floor is where you separated the wheat from the chaff. And I would imagine that there were times that was like the public threshing floor. If you didn't, have enough property and you weren't rich enough to have your own threshing floor, well, you could go to the public threshing floor. But most of the time is where they were threshing out truth from the lie, separating away the wheat from the chaff. The king of Israel, Job, was having put on the robe, sat on the throne. There they are sitting there with their robes on, looking good in the neighborhood, cameras on them, little bit of, that lady that comes in with a brush and puts a little makeup on you so you can look good for the cameras. Lights are on, action. At a threshing floor at the entrance of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. Oh, yeah, here's the 400. Here's all the false prophets. Jesus told us to beware of false prophets. Why? Because they move the line, baby. Because they tell you what you want to hear. I'm okay, you're okay. Well, good. Jesus saved us. I got that. Jesus loves us. We're going to heaven. I got that. But there's more to it than that. A lot more to it than that. Prayer line open right now. 425-3717. Now, Zedekiah, the son of Chenahanan, had made horns of iron for himself. And he said, thus says the Lord. Oh, now he's using Yahweh. He says, yeah. What was that name that Micaiah used? Oh, yeah, Yahweh. He said, thus says Yahweh, with these you shall gore the Syrians until they are destroyed. And all the prophets prophesied, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yahweh will deliver it into the hand of the king. Yahweh, wasn't that his name? Yeah, that's his name. Well, we should be saying Baal. We should be saying Ashur. Well, don't worry about it. Let's keep it, the way that he wants to hear it, because that other king, that Jehoshaphat guy, is there. And Micaiah is always saying freaky stuff. And he's coming, so put on your best clothes. Put on your church clothes today. And go down to the threshing floor at the gates of the city. And Zedekiah, he makes horns, like the horns of a bull. And he puts them on his head, and he's walking around, and he's prancing around there on the threshing floor, say, oh, thus says Yahweh, the word of the Lord is, with these you shall gore the Syrians until they are destroyed. Ooh, makes for good drama. I'm not the only dramatic one. Zedekiah outdoes me, man. He's got the horns. He's holding them over his head, and he says, "We're going to gore the Syrians. We're going to tear up Ben-Hadad. We're going to take Ramoth Gilead because it's ours anyway. He gave it to us. We've just been a little slacking going out there and getting it." And all the prophets prophesied. Everybody says, "Oh yeah, what do you? Oh yeah, go get him. Go get him, Ahab. Go get him, Ahab. Go get him, Ahab." I could see Jezebel over there giving him money, saying, "Okay, Bitcoin. Put some more Bitcoin in their accounts." And they keep on looking at we went up. Keep on talking and keep on giving us more. They're just printing it anyway. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to back it up. It's just paper anyway. And all the prophets prophesied, saying, "Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord Yahweh," oh, now they're using Yahweh, "will deliver it into the hand." That's where we're leaving it until we get back here in just a few minutes. But I have a song to take us up to the top of the hour.
We're going to sing it all back to you. Sing it with all your heart to
Oh, to Jesus I surrender.
Vegas. You're listening to KLYNLP. I know we told you that earlier, but the FCC wants it as close to the top of the hour as we can say it. So we say it, even if it's 2 and 3 and 4 times more. But just to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that we are in the last chapter of 1 Kings. Been quite the story about the kings. Started off talking about David and then Solomon. I think we even started talking about Saul. But anyway, a lot of David, a lot of Solomon. And then the split kingdom between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Now, we are in the northern kingdom. We are at the gates of Jezreel, the capital of the northern kingdom. We are at the threshing floor there. 2 thrones, one for Jehoshaphat, one for the king of Israel. What's his name? Oh, yeah. And all the prophets. So they're saying, go get him, king. Go get him. Oh, let's see. Sorry. I get carried away. Sorry, you have to see that. Hey, it's Ahab. Tell him what he wants to hear. What does he want to hear? Tell him what he wants to hear. I don't know. Ask Jezebel. She'll tell us. Jezebel, what do you want to say? Oh, yeah, well, she sent me the text. She said, tell him, go get him, tiger. Go get him. All the prophets prophesied, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord Yahweh will deliver it into the hand. Oh, there's the secret name, the Lord Yahweh. I mean, this is the word of the Lord. No, it ain't the word of the Lord. Beware of false prophets. New Testament is full. Okay, we're going to go there. Let's just put our bookmark right here so I can get back right away. And then we're going to go to Matthew chapter 24, because I believe there's someplace Jesus said, there will come in my name many saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Take heed that no one deceives you. Oh my God, there's going to be many false prophets. Verse 11, many false prophets will rise up and deceive many. We got 400 many trying to deceive Jehoshaphat. Ahab had been deceived already in spite of the mercy and the grace that God had shown him. Matthew 24:24. I told you many places in the New Testament. Matthew 24:24 says, for false Christs and false prophets will arise. So not just in the 5th verse, not just the 11th verse, also in the 24th verse. Matthew 7:15, beware of false prophets. Mark 13:22, for false Christs and false prophets will arise. Acts 20:30 says, also from among yourselves men will rise up speaking perverse things to draw away the disciples after themselves. 1 Timothy 4:1, the Spirit expressly says, in the latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. And we can go on and on. 2 Peter Chapter 2, verse 1 says, there are also false prophets among the people. Go back, okay? Look at, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different places. Let's see what Jude 1:4 says. For certain men have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were marked out for condemnation, ungodly men who turned the grace of God, the grace of God, into lewdness, and deny the only Lord God and our Lord Jesus Christ. Is that not what Ahab was doing? Thank you, Jezebel. But she's so pretty. She's so nice. The Botox is working real good. Then the messengers who had gone to call Micaiah spoke to him, saying, now listen. You have to understand that I add drama to the comments and to the things, and don't let that throw you off, but that's my way of understanding it, and maybe I'm just over dramatizing this thing a little bit too much. Now listen, the words of the prophets with one accord encourage the king. Please let your word be like the word of one of them and speak encouragement. So the guard, they said, okay, there he is in E3. Go get him out of there. Cell number 22. Go get him. Okay, hey, dude, come on now. Can't you be nice once? This is a big deal. Jehoshaphat's here. They got their kingly robes on. They're sitting on their thrones. All the other prophets are saying good things. Can't you say something good once in a while? Micaiah said, as the Lord lives, whatever Yahweh says to me, that I will speak. He says, listen, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hear from above. I'm not going to move the line. I'm not going to jump over it. I'm not going to try to twist it. All I'm going to do is says, as the Lord lives, whatever he says to me, that I will speak. Then he came to the king. And the king said to him, Micaiah, what shall we go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or shall we refrain? I mean, it's 400-1. Well, not yet. We don't know. It could be 401-0. We could have. And he answers, says, go and prosper, for the Lord will deliver it to the hand of the king. Let me read it just without too much inflection. And he answered him, go and prosper, for the Lord will deliver it into the hand of the king. Now, let me add my little drama to it. It says, oh yeah, go on. Go and prosper. Go. Yeah. The Lord, I was going to deliver. Wait a minute. The king said to him, how many times shall I make you swear that you tell me nothing but the truth in the name of the Lord? Ahab says, come on, man. Shh, hey, come here. Jehoshaphat's here, man. He knows you're lying. Make me look good, man. But tell us the truth, because I have to let Jehoshaphat know that I value the truth. Jehoshaphat's holding the line. So the king said to him, how many times shall I make you swear that you tell me nothing but the truth in the name of the Lord Yahweh? Then he said, I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains. He said, you want the truth? Let me tell you what the Lord told me. I had a dream last night and a vision on the way over here. And I saw all, it doesn't say a dream, it doesn't say a vision, but hey, in the police cruiser in the back, he had a vision. And he said, I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains. You want to tell me, you want to know what Yahweh told me? You don't believe in him very much anyway, but Jezebel's still in the way. She's always in the background, ladies. Always she was there, always in the background. Always in his mind, always playing. She had so ingrained him. She didn't have to be there. She didn't have to be on Mount Carmel. She was there. Oh, I was there in spirit. Oh, yeah. What spirit is that? So the prophet tells the king of Israel, we're not even mentioning his name much anymore when we get down to this chapter. I saw all Israel scattered on the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd. You know what happens when sheep are scattered on the mountains and have no shepherd? The bear, the wolf, and the lion say, lamb chops tonight, baby. Mutton stew. Can't wait. Come on, Bubba. Get that fire a-cooking, because we're going to eat it. And the Lord Yahweh said, these have no master. Let each return to his house in peace. He said, I saw Israel scattered like sheep without a shepherd. The Lord says, these have no master. Didn't Jesus say it? Wasn't Jesus coming down the mountain unto Jerusalem? And he says, oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I wanted to hold you, how I wanted to bring you close to me, he says. Matthew 9:36 says, but when Jesus saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion for them because they were weary and scattered like sheep having no shepherd. So the prophet says, I saw them scattered. I didn't see nobody. They were just scattered. They were just bait out there is all they were. And Yahweh said, these sheep have no master. Let each one return to his house in peace. Did Ahab understand that right then and there, as the prophet was speaking, that he was the master over the sheep of Samaria? But in the prophetic word that Micaiah had, all of a sudden there was no master. Let each one return to his house in peace. The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, did I not tell you he would not prophesy good concerning me, but evil? Didn't I tell you? I told you he was going to have a good word. Every word from the Lord is good. Just a word of warning is all it is. The man has repented before. He's put on the sackcloth before. The fear of men would keep him from putting the sackcloth on now. Got too many friends to lose. Too much ego to throw out the door. Then the prophet said, therefore hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by, and on his right hand and his left. Micaiah says, okay, you want to hear everything that I've seen then? Huh? Oh yeah, this guy never says anything good about me. Well, let me tell you what I saw. Let me tell you the dream. I told you the vision. Let me tell you the dream I had last night. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by, on his right hand, on his left. And Yahweh said, who will persuade Ahab to go up that he may fall at Ramoth Gilead? Says, I looked into heaven last night, and I saw all the host of heaven on his right and on his left. Guess who is on his right? And guess who is on his left? The 25th chapter of Matthew will help you out there. The sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Sitting on his throne. Hey, this is what happened in the time of Job. What happened in the first chapter of Job is all of heaven was before. All of the host of heaven was there before the Lord. And Satan comes around. He's on the left. That might tell you something. Who's on the left side of the aisle? Who's on the right side of the aisle? Better change gears here real quick. Good morning, Kristen. Rena, good morning. Okay. He says, I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by on his right hand and on his left. The Lord said, who will persuade Ahab to go up, that he may fall at Ramoth Gilead? So one spoke in this manner, another spoke in that manner. The Lord was there, and all the host of heaven was before him, on his right and on his left. And everybody says, well, I can get Ahab. I might be able to get Ahab this way, and I might get in. There's all kinds of counsel that's going on. It's the courtroom of heaven. And the Lord is, say, hey, guys, anybody have any idea what we're going to do here? What do you guys think? One spoke in this manner, another spoke in manner. Then a spirit came forward, and this guy came from the left side. Spirit came forward, stood before the Lord Yahweh, and said, I will persuade him. Says, I got an idea, and I know how I'm going to get him. Yahweh said to him, in what way? He said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all of his prophets. See, people read this, they don't understand the left from the right, and they say, oh, well, that's an angel shouldn't be able to lie. The angels are liars. Oh, fallen ones are. The goats are. The goats are the liars. The Lord said to him, in what way? He said, I'll go out, be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord said, you shall persuade him and also prevail. Go out and do so. So what was the lying spirit going to do? Well, he was all over. And what Micaiah is saying is, he says, I saw this. I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all those 400 prophets out there and say, go get him, tiger, go get him. You got him, man. You the man. And we're going to win this one. And this is Ramoth Gilead is ours. And let's get them all lathered up. Yahweh said, you shall persuade him and also prevail. Go out and do so. God says, yeah, that's a great plan, man. Go do it. Therefore, look, the prophet tells Ahab, the king of Israel, we're not even mentioning his name right. Therefore, therefore, look, the Lord has put a lying spirit in the mouth of all of these prophets of yours, and the Lord has declared disaster against you. What? Oh, yeah. At least somebody's going to hold the line. We got one prophet. He says, Yahweh put a lying spirit in all of these prophets, the prophets of Jezebel. But the Lord has declared disaster against you. They're going to send you out to your final resting place, and they don't even know it. Now, Zedekiah, the son of Chenaanah, went near and struck Micaiah on the cheek. The slap. Dang. I said that with a G, okay? Don't. Now Zedekiah went near and struck Micaiah on the cheek and said, which way did the Spirit of the Lord go from me to speak to you? Oh, yeah. Zedekiah says, I got Jesus too. I go to church too. Now, dude, a lying spirit has come upon you, buddy. You can call yourself wherever you call. You can try to trace your lineage all the way, but you know what? You belong to Jezebel. That's where you're at. He goes over there, gives him that slap, goes back and sits down and says, don't you dare talk about my Jezebel. Ooh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Yahweh just knows how to do it, doesn't he? Which way did the Spirit of the Lord go from me to speak to you? And Micaiah said, indeed, you shall see it on the day that you go into an inner chamber and hide. I got a word for you too, Zedekiah. You'll be hiding out in a dark little room someplace, tail between your legs. You be crying out, say, oh, help me, help me, help me, somebody help me. You go on the day that you go into an inner chamber to hide. So the king of Israel said to Micaiah and returned him. So the king of Israel said, take him and return him to Amnon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son. Throw him back in the slammer. And say, thus says the king, put this fellow in prison, feed him with bread of affliction and water of affliction until I come in peace. He says, I don't know a lot about these things, but I think there's a thing in prison where they have, this extra lockup thing that they have, put them in solitary confinement. and I'll deal with him when I come back. And Micaiah said, if you ever return in peace, Yahweh has not spoken by me. He said, take heed, all you people. Everybody here, listen up. Everybody here, if this man comes up, I'm the liar. But if this man doesn't come up, Yahweh spoke to me. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and go into battle, but you put on your robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. I don't know about, I don't know, Jehoshaphat, it wasn't the sharpest tack in the drawer, I guess. I don't know, but he says, oh, you get it. You put on the big old helmet, and you put on all the regala, and you put on all the stripes and all the bars, and on you, and I'll just go in as a regular guy. You lead the battle. You be the big shot today. I'm not going to be the big shot today. King of Israel said, Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and go into battle, but you put on your robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. Now the king of Syria had commanded the 32 captains of his chariots. Ben-Hadad tells his 32 captains, fight with no one, small or great, but only with the king of Israel. He says, boys, lock in your missiles on the king of Israel. Once you see the king of Israel, once you establish his position, press the button. So it was. When the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, they said, surely it is the king of Israel. Why did they see, how did they see Jehoshaphat? Is because he had all the, you could tell he was the big shot there. That's the guy. So when it was the captains of chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, surely is the king of Israel. Therefore they turned aside to fight against him, and Jehoshaphat cried out. And it happened when the captains of the chariots saw that it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. So there's the king, and everybody, point of the spear, all going after, he's the guy, he's the guy, he's the guy. But he doesn't have a mustache. And his hair is blonde. I don't know what color. I doubt of his hair. But you know what? He doesn't fit the bill. Oh, no, that's not him. I've seen his picture before on the wall of the post office right there in Syria, in Damascus. When they saw it was not the king of Israel, that they turned back from pursuing him. Now, a certain man drew a bow at random, struck the king of Israel between the joints of his armor. Jehoshaphat cries out. Oh, that's not his voice. I don't know his. Nope. Anyway, they turn away from Jehoshaphat. But one everyday regular soldier I shot an arrow into the sky. And guess where it landed? Right between the joints of the armor of the king of Israel, not the king of Judah. So he said to the driver of his chariot, turn around and take me out of the battle, for I am wounded. The battle increased that day, and the king propped up in his chariot. Guess what? We ran out of time. Got to play a song. Got to do a weather report. Overdid it. Again. We'll be back tomorrow for you Facebook and YouTube people. But I got to go.
Let the world see